I'm here in Portugal to ride the new 2026 Hornet 750. There's been a few subtle tweaks to this bike over the previous model year, but there's one big difference in that this bike now comes as standard with the E-clutch. So let's get straight into that E-clutch, because this is the first time I've ridden an E-clutch bike. For some reason I missed the CB 650 and CBR 650, and if you haven't encountered the E-clutch either, then let's just take a quick look at what the system's all about. I'll try and keep this brief and not get too technical, but essentially there's a bolt-on which includes two actuator motors and a rotation angle sensor. This is all contained in a small housing that you can see on the right hand side. On the 750 models, they've been able to move that slightly forward compared to the 650, and it only adds 2 kilos compared to a standard manual gearbox. Turn the key in the ignition and the system recognises neutral and opens up the clutch plates. When you then start the engine, you can engage first gear with a shift pedal without touching the clutch, and it delivers a smooth controlled pull away. When you're upshifting, again based on all those readings, the fuel injection controls the ignition timing and fuel quantity to manage the release of the current gear, just like using a quick shifter, and the motor control unit instigates a half clutch opening state, so it's kind of like a slip assist clutch, and that reduces shift shock when engaging the target gear. On the downshift, the system operates the clutch normally to release the current gear, and you get an auto blip to match the RPM with the next gear, and again the MCU will instigate a half clutch opening state to reduce that shift shock on the downshifts. So what that means in practice is this clutch lever here becomes redundant. Now we've been riding for about half an hour or so from the hotel in lovely sunny Portugal, or maybe not, and the only time I've used that clutch is by accident when I've forgotten. So the way to look at it is that you've just got a bike with a quick shifter, but you don't need that clutch to start or stop, which is a weird concept until you start riding with it, and then you kind of go, oh okay, I get it, it makes sense, and you do adapt to it very quickly. Initially my only problem was that because I'm not using that clutch, it felt a bit like the DCT, and so there are occasions where I was forgetting to change down coming into junctions, expecting the bike to do it itself. But you do get a little notification on the dash here, so it shows me I'm in 4th gear. If the revs drop too low for that to be a viable gear, that will start flashing orange to remind you that you have to change down. Now one thing about the E-clutch that you may be asking is, can you stall the bike? And yes you can, but only if you mess around touching the clutch lever. So if you just ride as I've been riding, not using that to pull away to stop, if you come to a junction and you're in the wrong gear and you get the flashing light warning you, it will just not stall. It will continue to run, it will stay in that gear. If you put gas on, it will try to pull away and chug chug chug, and obviously you'll then just change gear. However, if you do pull the clutch in, obviously you've then switched the E-clutch system off. So for those brief few seconds where you haven't got the system assisting you, you can stall the bike. Now one of the benefits of this system, as well as acting like a quick shifter, it offers a much smoother shift. And Honda have given us the charts on this. If you look at a manual clutch, the time that you've got no drive is quite long. With a quick shifter that is shortened, but with this system that's shortened even more, so you get a quicker shift with less loss of drive, but also you've got that sort of anti-slip element as well, which will smooth out that shift. And if you ride this, you will find it to be the smoothest quick shifter you have ever tried. Come to Portugal, they said. Come and ride some new bikes in the sunshine, they said. Yeah, unfortunately the weather hasn't been kind here in the Algarve. 13 degrees and chucking down with rain. But you know, it is what it is. What hasn't changed though is just what a good bike this is to ride. You've got exactly the same characteristics. plus you've got that excellent e-clutch system, and the beauty of it is that if you just want normal manual clutch control, you have that. You can switch it off at the start of your ride and just use the clutch as normal, or you can override it. So at any point you want to pull the clutch to change gear, it will override that, kick it into manual mode, and depending on your speed it will leave it in that mode for a while. So if you're riding at pace, it will leave it in there I think for 1 or 2 seconds and then revert back. If you're going slowly, 5 miles an hour and under, it will assume that you're kind of maneuvering the bike, so it will leave it in that full manual mode for longer. I think about 5 seconds. So essentially you've got a manual Honda Hornet with the best quick shifter you've ever experienced. It is very, very good, unlike the weather. So we've actually got a break in the rain and a bit of sunshine, which gives me the opportunity to talk a little bit more about the bike. Now, there's not a massive change compared to the previous model. There's a few tweaks here and there. There's a new cowl, there's lots of new accessories, and we'll touch on those later on. But what's good about it is they haven't messed with the winning formula that the Hornet was. It's just been sharpened a little bit, and the addition of that e-clutch and the new colourways. This is the denim blue, which is a nice colour, obviously a colour that's been used quite a bit. Probably my favourite one in the range is the Goldfinch yellow with silver, yellow being a traditional Hornet colour. And then the other colours available for 2026 are graphite black metallic with a red frame and wolf silver metallic with iridium grey. But yeah, just a thoroughly enjoyable, good fun naked bike. Fast, agile and fun. Those are the 3 core elements that Honda wanted from it as part of their design brief, and I think they've hit that brief smack bang in the middle.
The bike retains the same 5-inch TFT screen, which is nice and clear and easy to read. The controls are intuitive and they are backlit as well. There's no change to the 5 rider modes that we saw in the previous model, but there is a higher use of recycled materials throughout the bike. When you consider the changes that have taken place, particularly the e-clutch, the 2026 price of £7,549 seems like a bit of a bargain to me, and that is only £100 more than the previous year's model. I mentioned the accessories earlier on, and you've got the usual things like the heated grips with 5 levels and a memory function. There's some kanji inspired graphic details if you want to brighten up the fairings and the undercowl. And as ever, there's a number of accessory packs. So you have the sport pack, which includes a seat cowl, tank pads, skid pads and a new visor. The style pack has the radiator grille, grip ends, a different seat, some stripes and a few other bits and bobs. Comfort pack is for those people who want to do a little bit of travelling, with a really neat rear seat bag, tank bag and heated grips. And the design pack is largely just stickers with those designs I mentioned earlier, as well as tank pads. So Honda haven't messed with what was a winning formula and an incredibly popular and good selling bike. They've given it a few tweaks here. There's some new colours, a tiny little bit of styling changes, but the biggest change obviously is the addition of the e-clutch, which I found to be absolutely superb. People think it is a little bit of a gimmick, but I disagree. Once you start riding with it, particularly in stop-start traffic through towns, it really is a bonus. And of course, if you just want to ride it like a normal bike with normal clutch control, you can do that as well. And all of that is only going to cost you £100 more than last year. I think Honda have got another winner on their hands. Hopefully I've given you a flavour of what this bike is like. As I've said, not really much of a change overall to the previous model, with the exception of that e-clutch, but that does make, I think, a huge difference. If you do have any questions, if there's something that I haven't covered and you'd like to know about it, then let me know in the comment section down below and I'll answer those questions as quickly as I can.
Other than that, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.